Some say the walls remember. In a lonely farmhouse deep in the Bavarian woods, something moved where no one should have been. Footsteps scraped above the ceiling. Tools vanished, a key went missing, and days later, 6 people would lie dead, their bodies neatly stacked, their animals still fed, the chimney still smoking. And to this day, no one truly knows who did it. Tonight, we return to Hinterkaifeck, where silence became the loudest scream in Germany's history. The year was 1922. Germany was raw from war, struggling through famine, politics, and fear. 50 miles north of Munich, tucked between Kaifeck and Gruber, sat a small farm known only by locals as Hinterkaifeck, also known as the farm behind Kaifeck. The world around it was still medieval in rhythm. Candlelight, horses, wooden plows, and miles of forest. The farm's owners, Andreas Gruber, 63, and Cecilia Gruber, 72, lived with their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, 35, and her 2 children, little Cecilia, 7, and baby Joseph, 2. The family's maid, Maria Baumgartner, 44, had arrived only 1 day before the murders. Neighbors described the Grubers as strict, devout, and proud. But the isolation around Hinterkaifeck gave the place a reputation. Strange noises at night, flickering lanterns, shadows that didn't belong. Even before tragedy struck, the farm already felt haunted. Late in March, Andreas Gruber complained to neighbors that someone had been walking in the snow toward his house, but not away from it. Fresh footprints appeared between the barn and the forest, yet none led back out. Inside, tools went missing, then reappeared in odd places. A set of house keys vanished entirely. The family heard footsteps in the attic, soft but deliberate. Andreas searched, found nothing. The previous maid, frightened, had already quit months earlier, claiming the house was whispering at night. Still, the Grubers stayed. They were tough farmers, accustomed to hardship, not superstition. But their new maid, Maria Baumgartner, had barely unpacked when something came for them. On Friday, March 31st, 1922, snow still lined the fields. The Grubers worked as usual, milking cows, chopping wood. A postman delivered letters. He'd later swear he saw no sign of distress. That night, villagers noticed the farmhouse went dark unusually early. No lanterns. No smoke by morning. Saturday came. The children missed school. Victoria failed to appear at choir practice. Milk deliveries stood untouched. By Sunday, church bells rang, but the Grubers' pew was empty. Concern turned to dread. Monday morning, mechanic Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighbor and former friend, decided to check the farm with 2 companions. They stepped into the silent yard, and what they found would stain Hinterkaifeck's soil forever. Behind the stable door lay a stack of hay. Beneath it, the bodies of Andreas, Cecilia Sr., Victoria, and young Cecilia. They had been lured into the barn, one by one. Each struck repeatedly in the head, likely with a mattock, a heavy farm pickaxe. Their faces were nearly unrecognizable. The little girl had clumps of her own hair torn out, as if she'd been alive a moment longer. Inside the house, baby Joseph and maid Maria were found in their beds, killed the same way. 6 lives, extinguished with brutal precision. Yet what disturbed investigators most was what didn't happen. The farm animals were fed. The fireplace still warm. Meals prepared after the murders. Someone had stayed, living among the dead. Police from Munich arrived April 4th. They found chaos. Villagers had already trampled through the house, moved bodies, touched tools. Any forensic clues were destroyed before professionals arrived. Authorities searched for the murder weapon, nothing. It would not be discovered until a year later, hidden in the attic. Autopsies conducted in the barn courtyard, primitive, brutal, by lantern light. The doctor confirmed massive cranial trauma. But decomposition had begun. Even worse, Andreas Gruber's skull was removed and later lost during World War II bombings. The first theory, a robbery. Yet cash and jewelry lay untouched. So if not theft, why kill 6 innocent people? Suspicion fell on neighbor Lorenz Schlittenbauer, the same man who'd found the bodies. He'd once been close to Victoria, some say romantically, and rumors claimed he might even have fathered young Joseph. During the discovery, Lorenz reportedly unlocked doors with ease, as if he still had a key. He was seen moving the bodies, even feeding the animals. His behavior seemed calm, too calm, but no hard evidence tied him to the killings. He was never charged. Other theories surfaced: passing bandits, escaped prisoners, even a mentally unstable relative. The case was already collapsing under confusion. No fingerprints preserved. No photographs beyond a handful. The murder weapon mislaid. Reports contradicted each other. Police, overwhelmed by public pressure, interrogated more than 100 suspects. Farmers, soldiers, drifters. A local carpenter confessed, then recanted. Others blamed traveling tradesmen. None matched physical evidence. Even psychic mediums were consulted. Nothing conclusive. Years later, new investigators would call it one of the worst-handled cases in Bavarian history. When the farm was demolished in 1923, workers discovered the missing mattock buried in hay. Dried stains coated its edge. Under floorboards, fragments of skull, long overlooked. Locals whispered that Andreas Gruber himself had been cruel and domineering. Some alleged incestuous control over Victoria. Though never proven, these rumors fueled the idea of revenge. Still, every suspect list ended in dead ends. By mid-century, Hinterkaifeck had become less a crime scene than a legend, part of Germany's haunted folklore. Over the decades, theories multiplied. The neighbor theory, Schlittenbauer acting in rage or jealousy. The stranger theory, a vagrant hiding in the attic, killing when discovered. The soldier theory, veterans traumatized by war, seeking shelter and snapping. The family secret theory, hidden paternity and shame leading to internal violence. Each had holes. Each lacked proof. Even a 2007 cold case analysis by the Fürstenfeldbruck Police Academy concluded the evidence was too degraded for DNA testing, but they quietly claimed they'd identified a likely suspect, whose name remained sealed to protect living relatives. The farm was leveled. A memorial shrine built nearby. But villagers swore the ground stayed cursed, tools breaking, animals refusing to graze. Survivors refused to speak publicly for decades. The story became a ghost tale told to children. Don't wander to Hinterkaifeck after dark. Journalists revisited it in the 1950s, the 1970s, and again in the 2000s. Each time, new rumors surfaced, but no confession, no closure. Who lured the family into the barn and why? Why did the killer stay afterward, tending livestock and cooking meals? Did guilt make them linger? Or was it something else? Possession, obsession, insanity? Why did young Kazilia's hair tear out in clumps, fear? Or did she witness the unthinkable? And how can a case with 6 murders, dozens of witnesses, and decades of scrutiny still stand unsolved? Because sometimes, evil leaves no fingerprints. A century later, Hinterkaifeck remains an open wound in criminal history, a reminder that monsters do not always vanish. Sometimes, they blend back into the crowd. What do you believe happened on that farm? Was it vengeance? Madness? Or something far darker hiding in those woods? Tell us your theory in the comments below. And if the unknown still calls to you, subscribe to Haunting Cold Cases, where every unsolved story breathes again. Until next time, lock your doors, listen for footsteps, and remember, the past never truly stays buried.